Hey, we're here at the Twin Cities Antiquarian and Rare Book Fair with author Stephen J. Gertz, who wrote the book Dope Menace, which is an amazing portrait of the sensational world of drug paperbacks from 1900 to 1975. Steve, in looking through this book, it's amazing how this really is a slice of history that no longer exists. Or does it?
Well, what these books basically do is give a very visual portrait or visual history of drugs in the United States. And even though the book covers most books from 1900 to 1975, I do go back into the 19th century because the U.S. has a rich history of drug use that most people aren't aware of. And these books provide, I think, the most direct record of the pop culture's view of drug use. And it's conflicted because in the same book you'll find anti-drug sentiment and almost sympathetic treatment of drugs.
Right.
So almost from the beginning, the U.S. has had a conflicted relationship with the drug experience. What's particularly attractive to me about it is that it provides a visual history of graphic design in the U.S. during the period under review, not just drug literature, but of graphic design in general.
Right.
And when we get into drugs, these books had a sell. You have to understand that paperbacks were not sold in bookstores at the time. They were sold any place where magazines were sold. So the covers had to grab the immediate attention of people on the move, whether to catch a bus, a train, at an airport, in a drugstore, grocery store. Like I said, wherever magazines were sold, paperbacks were sold. And the publisher's aim was to grab attention, compel someone to pick up the book, and once the book was in their hands, keep it glued in their hands and have them buy it. So the artwork is almost always lurid, highly suggestive. You really see a connection in these covers between sex and drugs. Let's be frank about it. And if you were to go by the books alone, you would think that only gorgeous women had drug problems, because almost all the covers feature lovely ladies under the influence. Of course, that's not the case. Men have always been the prime users of illegal drugs, but sex and drug sells. It always has, and these books flew off, I was going to say shelves, but they flew off the paperback racks at the time because they were just almost irresistible. Almost like they made the books almost as if they were drugs.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks for coming to Minnesota.
It's been my pleasure to be here, Eric. Thanks so much for inviting me.